Hi guys, welcome to RF Sports YouTube channel. Subscribe now. FIFA Women's World Cup Australia and New Zealand 2023 match schedule. July 20th. Group A, New Zealand vs Norway 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Eden Park, Auckland Tamaki Makaurau. Group B, Australia vs Republic of Ireland 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Stadium Australia, Sydney Gadigal. July 21st. Group B, Nigeria vs Canada 8 Greenwich Mean Time, Melbourne Rectangular Stadium, Melbourne Narm. Group A, Philippines vs Switzerland 10:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Dunedin Stadium, Dunedin Aotearoa. Group C, Spain vs Costa Rica 13 Greenwich Mean Time, Wellington Regional Stadium, Wellington Te Whakataetae. July 22nd. Group E, USA vs Vietnam 6:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Eden Park, Auckland Tamaki Makaurau. Group C, Zambia vs Japan 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Waikato Stadium, Hamilton Kirikiriroa. Group D, England vs Haiti 15 Greenwich Mean Time, Brisbane Stadium, Brisbane Meanjin. Group D, Denmark vs China PR 17:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Perth Rectangular Stadium, Perth Borlu. July 23rd. Group G, Sweden vs South Africa 10:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Wellington Regional Stadium, Wellington Te Whakataetae. Group E, Netherlands vs Portugal 13 Greenwich Mean Time, Dunedin Stadium, Dunedin Aotearoa. Group F, France vs Jamaica 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Sydney Football Stadium, Sydney Gadigal. July 24th. Group G, Italy vs Argentina 11:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Eden Park, Auckland Tamaki Makaurau. Group H, Germany vs Morocco 14 Greenwich Mean Time, Melbourne Rectangular Stadium, Melbourne Narm. Group F, Brazil vs Panama 16:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Hindmarsh Stadium, Adelaide Tarntania. July 25th. Group H, Colombia vs Korea Republic 7:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Sydney Football Stadium, Sydney Gadigal. Group A, New Zealand vs Philippines 11 Greenwich Mean Time, Wellington Regional Stadium, Wellington Te Whakataetae. Group A, Switzerland vs Norway 13:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Waikato Stadium, Hamilton Kirikiriroa. July 26th. Group C, Japan vs Costa Rica 10:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Dunedin Stadium, Dunedin Aotearoa. Group C, Spain vs Zambia 13 Greenwich Mean Time, Eden Park, Auckland Tamaki Makaurau. Group B, Canada vs Republic of Ireland 17:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Perth Rectangular Stadium, Perth Borlu. July 27th. Group E, USA vs Netherlands 6:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Wellington Regional Stadium, Wellington Te Whakataetae. Group E, Portugal vs Vietnam 13 Greenwich Mean Time, Waikato Stadium, Hamilton Kirikiriroa. Group B, Australia vs Nigeria 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Brisbane Stadium, Brisbane Meanjin. July 28th. Group G, Argentina vs South Africa 5:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Dunedin Stadium, Dunedin Aotearoa. Group D, England vs Denmark 14 Greenwich Mean Time, Sydney Football Stadium, Sydney Gadigal. Group D, China PR vs Haiti 16:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Hindmarsh Stadium, Adelaide Tarntania. July 29th. Group G, Sweden vs Italy 13 Greenwich Mean Time, Wellington Regional Stadium, Wellington Te Whakataetae. Group F, France vs Brazil 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Brisbane Stadium, Brisbane Meanjin. Group F, Panama vs Jamaica 18 Greenwich Mean Time, Perth Rectangular Stadium, Perth Borlu. July 30th. Group H, Korea Republic vs Morocco 10 Greenwich Mean Time, Hindmarsh Stadium, Adelaide Tarntania. Group H, Germany vs Colombia 15 Greenwich Mean Time, Sydney Football Stadium, Sydney Gadigal. Group A, Norway vs Philippines 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time, Eden Park, Auckland Tamaki Makaurau. Group A, Switzerland versus New Zealand 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time Dunedin Stadium, Dunedin Aotearoa, July 31st. Group C, Japan versus Spain 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time Wellington Regional Stadium, Wellington-Te Whanganui-Aotearoa. Group C, Costa Rica versus Zambia 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time Waikato Stadium, Hamilton Kirikiriroa. Group B, Republic of Ireland versus Nigeria 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time Brisbane Stadium, Brisbane Meanjin. Group B, Canada versus Australia 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time Melbourne Rectangular Stadium, Melbourne Narm. Group E, Vietnam versus Netherlands 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time Dunedin Stadium, Dunedin Aotearoa. August 1st. Group E, Portugal versus USA 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time Eden Park, Auckland Tamaki Makaurau. Group D, China PR versus England 16:30 Greenwich Mean Time Hindmarsh Stadium, Adelaide Tarntania. Group D, Haiti versus Denmark 16:30 Greenwich Mean Time Perth Rectangular Stadium, Perth Bourlou. Group G, Argentina versus Sweden 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time Waikato Stadium, Hamilton Kirikiriroa. August 2nd. Group G, South Africa versus Italy 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time Wellington Regional Stadium, Wellington-Te Whanganui-Aotearoa. Group F, Panama versus France 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time Sydney Football Stadium, Sydney Gadigal. Group F, Jamaica versus Brazil 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time Melbourne Rectangular Stadium, Melbourne Narm. Group H, Morocco versus Colombia 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time Perth Rectangular Stadium, Perth Bourlou. August 3rd. Group H, Korea Republic versus Germany 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time Brisbane Stadium, Brisbane Meanjin. Round of 16. August 5th. Game 1 First Group A versus Second Group C 10:30 Greenwich Mean Time Eden Park, Auckland Tamaki Makaurau. Game 2 First Group C versus Second Group A 13:30 Greenwich Mean Time Wellington Regional Stadium, Wellington-Te Whanganui-Aotearoa. August 6th. Game 3 First Group E versus Second Group G 7:30 Greenwich Mean Time Sydney Football Stadium, Sydney Gadigal. Game 4 First Group G versus Second Group E 14:30 Greenwich Mean Time Melbourne Rectangular Stadium, Melbourne Narm. August 7th. Game 5 First Group B versus Second Group D 20:30 Greenwich Mean Time Stadium Australia, Sydney Gadigal. Game 6 First Group D versus Second Group B 16 Greenwich Mean Time Brisbane Stadium, Brisbane Meanjin. August 8th. Game 7 First Group F versus Second Group H 13:30 Greenwich Mean Time Hindmarsh Stadium, Adelaide Tarntania. Game 8 First Group H versus Second Group F 13:30 Greenwich Mean Time Melbourne Rectangular Stadium, Melbourne Narm. Quarterfinal. Game B Winner of Game 2 versus winner of Game 4, 6:30 Greenwich Mean Time Eden Park, Auckland Tamaki Makaurau. August 11th. Game A Winner of Game 1 versus winner of Game 3, 6:30 Greenwich Mean Time Wellington Regional Stadium, Wellington-Te Whanganui-Aotearoa. August 12th. Game C Winner of Game 5 versus winner of Game 7, 12:30 Greenwich Mean Time Brisbane Stadium, Brisbane Meanjin. Game D Winner of Game 6 versus winner of Game 8 16 Greenwich Mean Time Stadium Australia, Sydney Gadigal. Semi-final. August 15th. Game I Winner of Game A versus winner of Game B 13:30 Greenwich Mean Time Eden Park, Auckland Tamaki Makaurau. August 16th. Game 2 Winner of Game C versus winner of Game D 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time Stadium Australia, Sydney Gadigal. Third place match. August 19th. Runner-up of Game I versus runner-up of Game 2 13:30 Greenwich Mean Time Brisbane Stadium, Brisbane Meanjin. August 20th. Final. Winner of Game I versus winner of Game 2 15:30 Greenwich Mean Time Stadium Australia, Sydney Gadigal. Thanks for watching video.